Yeah, that was a real fun match right there. Game number one between these two teams, and now we get to do it again. But we have different runners representing Sphere-finity and Lay French Canadians. I am joined by Dazed Cloud. I'm Adirondack Rick. Hope that you're enjoying your evening. Dazed Cloud, who do we have representing our two teams?
Well, today, if I'm not wrong, it looks like we've got ourselves a good old race here between GFE and, oh God, I'm just going to call him A-Rod, because my French kind of goes up into high school, and that's a little bit too difficult for me right now. But yeah, these two racers, this is going to be a great match here between these two of them. I'm greatly looking forward to being a part of this one. And yeah, I would just like to say, hey, we're gonna be getting going in just about a couple of seconds, I believe.
About maybe 45 seconds if you have the delay in there as well. So we did see the match earlier here between Sphere-finity and Lay French Canadian. Sphere-finity won that match to put them at 3 points overall, with good old B-Train winning that match over Ninban. That was a fun match right there, and I hear it came down to some rupee grinding and some unfortunate lava stuff, which I guess explains Asclepius's Rod's choice of names right here.
Yeah, that would make sense. Unfortunately, right there.
Actually,
Well,
it explains both of their names. I just noticed GFE's name, and we're on our way.
for everybody who's just joining in, we are in week 2 of the league here. We're gonna be doing some faux all dungeons keys. Basically, this is all dungeons key sanity, but we decided to take probably the most annoying part of it, which is looking for the final 2 castle tower keys to beat Aga Tower, and just put them right in Aga Tower themselves. So everything else is still randomized, as we have both runners there taking very opposite approaches. We're gonna have.
I thought the more annoying aspect was the ice rod hunt.
Well, we still have that possibility. We have the ice rod hunt. We have the swamp small hunt. We've got all sorts of GT big key hunts. We can still have lots of fun. We're still doing key sanity.
Yes, we are. And that was a Turtle Rock Small that we found for our very first key. And we get our second key right here, which is a Ganon's Tower Small. As we get to see that looks like we're not getting any help from the pull trees or the bush crabs at this point. So GFE dropping down into the hole is going to go ahead and find 20 rupees. Of course, we want to have 100 at some point in order to pay off the bottle vendor. But because this is a key sanity mode, rupees are a little harder to come by in the village.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that neither runner decided to go ahead and maybe go for a Houlihan start at the beginning there, especially considering how much money played into game 1 between these two here. That's one of the most common openings you do in an AD Key Sanity, is run over and just assure yourself immediately that you can get the money for Bottle Vendor, maybe get yourself a little bit closer up to Zora. You might have to buy bombs. There's all sorts of reasons why people tend to do it, but neither runner is. We're just kind of gambling the forest, gambling our tree pulls, and gambling our bush crabs, who are not being helpful so far.
So in 30 minutes, we're going to be watching them grind rupees, aren't we?
It's going to be in and out of Blind's Hut for 30 minutes. Exactly. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing. I'm afraid here is A-Rod go ahead and saves and quit there, and looks like GFE just showed us that the race game today is just 10 arrows, so he's not going to have to use that bomb quite yet.
Yeah, that one means he can get to that bottom left corner if he really wants to. 20 rupees there, that is a no. Speaking of the Houlihan stretch, we're about ready to see it coming up here from Asclepius Rod. So that will get them 225 rupees for spending in the village.
It'd be interesting to see exactly where he goes once he gets that money there, because if you want, you can just walk down to right next to Lake Hylia Island. There is a shop right there where you can buy 10 bombs, and then if you want, you've got a lot of options. You can go up to Sasharala, you can go down south. I mean, it depends on how quickly do you want to get to Kakariko. If you want to come back with a flute and maybe make it a one trip or a bottle, I mean, that's an option for you. We'll have to see exactly what he does as GFE gets his bombs out of the hut, like you were mentioning.
And as you mentioned here, Sulpius Rod is heading on over towards the Hylia shop to pick up those 10 bombs. And we'll get to see what will be a real fun time for Mindful Beast, our tracker, because we are going to be finding a whole lot of different things at this point. Like, for instance, in that chicken coop, what did we just find?
That was a moon pearl, and over on A-Rod's side, when he jumped down, he showed us that we've got a big key sitting on the island there in the middle of the lake.
Now, I do want to point out that there's not a guarantee that we do need that big key, because there are certain ones that we can skip, but considering that this is all dungeons, you are very likely to need those, and even if it's one of those dungeons where you could probably skip that big key, watch it become something that you need in that big chest.
Ah, yeah, that's always the thing there. I mean, there are 4 dungeons, like you mentioned, where we don't really need the big key to complete it, but if there's something in that big chest, that the game does not care. As it looks like in the well today, we're going to pick up lamp and a key to pod, as A-Rod there is in the back of Sasharala's hut, finding, I want to say, that was a key to Turtle Rock?
I am surprised that A-Rod did not choose to talk to Sahasrara. Misery Myers marked off on our tracker.
Ah, okay. Well, that's always nice to have. You'd like one key to Misery Mire, if at all possible, when you go in there, just because that does make routing of it a little bit easier.
There's
puts
your
a few more things in logic, and yep, there you go. There's your flute and your bottle in Kakariko today. So that's gonna just take care of everything in the first trip through, which is really nice for both runners.
All right, Sulpius Red going into here. And we'll go get that flute in that bottle real soon. But I am surprised, again, that Sulpius Red did not talk to Sahasrara to find out what we had for our green pendant. Now, obviously, you have to do all the dungeons, but sometimes knowing what that green pendant is can change the way that you view a dungeon. Same thing with the 5-6.
Yeah, and with the other part of this is that pendants aren't required to open up GT. So depending on what our pendants are, we might need to go into GT to get the big key out of it. And not knowing what your pendants are immediately can really cause you problems there, as we show the sick kid a bottle and he gives us a bottle.
Yep, we get ourselves a fairy in a bottle, which is a nice safety to have, except for if you're trying to set up a death warp. Then it becomes a nuisance.
Right, and that's not something we need to be worrying about quite yet, because I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of dungeon dipping. We kind of just, at this point, need to find a way into the dark world here. With this being faux AD keys here, if we get the kind of like the traditional AGA access there with a lamp and 2 swords or something like that, we can do that. And we got a hook shot there from the old man.
All right, well, that hook shot is also a pretty good deal right there. That's probably why we got ourselves an early lamp. I was more oohing about the fact that the bottle vendor has the Tower of Hera small key. We can't get there just yet, but interesting at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that you want early before more than you want that late. So that's a great time to have found that for sure. As looks like we've got A-Rod playing the flute here to save his duck and activate a little bit of fast travel. GFE is going to show us exactly what's inside of Spec Rock today. That's a big key.
Have a big key right there, so you're definitely dropping down to grab that before you do anything else. So A-Rod's about to go pick up the second fairy, and the second bottle with the fairy in it. That's actually 2 bottles with fairies in it. They're both fairies in a bottle. That's what I meant to say.
That is, yeah, that does seem kind of be one of the tricks of the game. Sometimes it does feel occasionally. I am just completely talking out of the air here as GFE picks up the Thieves Town small key, big key there, but feels like sometimes when you get one kind of bottle, that's the type of bottle you get the majority of for the game. Like you get a B in the bottle, and like 3 more bottles are going to have Bs in them. I don't know if that's something with the code or if that's just pure confirmation bias on my part.
Confirmation bias on your part.
Fantastic.
Although it does feel silly like that sometimes.
Oh, definitely, definitely. A-Rod, unfortunately, going to go ahead and do the race game blind here. Is going to get over there and find out that, man, it's just 10 arrows. Going to flute away almost immediately once he sees that, I imagine.
I mean, they've got 0 arrows. Of course, they're not going to pick those up, of course. We get a second key to Misery Mire being shown to us, and that's also a second Turtle Rock key. GFE has not gone over towards the Uncle area, has not picked up the Turtle Rock key that's over there. So that's 2 known Turtle Rock keys.
So that's good. I mean, if we can find a third one, that's when we start getting very, very curious about what exactly is in Turtle Rock as we grab a mushroom here out of the top of Paradox Cave and our first sword. Okay.
Well, once we get to the Dark World, we have a way of finding out what Turtle Rock is, as we just found the map inside of the Ice Rod Cave, as GFE pulls off the bomb jump to get over to the other side, and there's only one other play that GFE can pull off at this stage without the hammer, and that is heading into this long long cave that you go around in a circle. Although you don't really want to die before you get in there. Dead rocks really don't want to help. Oh, that's our hammer.
On the island, on floating island up there? Okay, so we are going to need mitts, and we're going to need ourselves a mirror to go ahead and get that thing for sure. That's going to be a little deeper in the logic, so we've got a little bit of walking. Now, I'm going to say right now, I'm starting to really think that our Dark World access today is going to be going through Aga. Here, it's GFE's gotta being really careful through Spiral Cave, doing a good job of not dying.
Got it. And gets 20 rupees for that effort. So yeah, that late hammer. Like, you need to have a mirror. You need to have a Titan's mitt before you could even talk about getting that at this point. That is deep in the logic.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. I kind of feel like we're gonna be going through Aga just because I'm looking at the equipment we have. We've already got 1 sword. We've got ourselves a hook shot to get across the island. At some point here, I'm expecting to see either 1 glove or possibly a flippers show up. If I see flippers, I'm just gonna say right now that's where we're going. But It does feel like that, as A-Rod is going to make his way to the top of the mountain here. He's going to get his hook shot as GFE checks Agana's cave, and that is a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, 10 arrows you consider to be absolutely nothing at this point. All right, so what do we have? Well, of course, we still have the main section of Hyrule Castle to go through. That lamp gets us to Dark Cross, but we can't get to the back 3 of Escape until we find the Hyrule Castle key or the first glove.
Yeah, true. And even then, since we're playing Key Sanity, only the very first chest in the escape sequence is in logic. As GFE takes one look at the boomerang that he was going to get for his for that mushroom and decides, yeah, thanks. I'm going to get something. I'm going to keep that mushroom just for possible fake powder shenanigans later. So right now, I don't know if it's a good idea to be heading towards Hyrule Castle, or in GFE's sake, he's still got all of the southern light world here to check, and with the hookshot, he'll be able to just clip right through that block there, save him at least a good couple of seconds there.
Yeah, you don't have to go make a repeat trip in when you're able to do that block. So that definitely does save you a little bit of time, as a Selfish Rod is going to be heading over here to get that Thieves Town big key. GFE is going to be going through Mini Molder, which we did not see anything of importance when A-Rod was in here just a few moments ago. So right now, let's just outline what we have available to us. Again, we have the escape area. Hyrule Castle, the escape area up into Dark Cross, is available to us. As you just pointed out, the logic is what it is. The only other place we can go to is checking up until the big key chest of Eastern.
Yeah, that's not something you would like to put that off, but if the game is going to force you to do it, then you don't really have a choice. Now the
Well,
other option, we do have one more option, is that we could start sequence breaking, doing some fake flippering, or we could steal one of the keys from the
right.
front of the escape sequence and head to the back.
Right. We obviously do have some sequence breaks that we can put into effect in this at this point, but the big thing, in my opinion, is I'm looking at what we have for Spear ones, and we don't have a whole lot of those options. But you know how Spear ones like to work out. Sometimes they do like to put things in nasty spots. Like the one thing you do need to remember is that we right now have 3 chests in Eastern that are considered Spear 1 checks.
Definitely. And that lamp does go ahead and puts in one more as well. So if our runners head up to Eastern, I think that is probably the best play they could make at the moment here, as GFE has finally decided that, yep, I'm going to do my Houlihan as well here. And goes ahead, reaches it from the bottom there, so he gets it without any problem. Gonna get his 255 rupees there. At some point, he's probably thinking Zora is a possibility. Also, it could be that he might just need that money for Kiki.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. You mentioned the Agate Tower play. It's not even in logic to us at this point. We're still missing a sword upgrade or the cape that would put it into logic.
True. I feel like that's coming, though. I mean, that is the one thing that we kind of need to kind of push this seed on, as A-Rod puts that dead rock in just the worst possible place. But he's going to be able to get through here, going around the bottom. Just kind of annoying when something like that happens. You're like, I obviously have the space, and the game disagrees with you.
Yeah, and you don't like it. You obviously sit there and go, "Come on, game." You're trying to make sure that you don't get too annoyed about the game, but the game doesn't do you any favors.
No,
And
you
here we
just
go,
sit there.
sequence break time.
Okay, so we've got Moon Pearl, so we can get to the Waterfall Ferry. That's going to be kind of interesting, as GFE is going to have to back out, unfortunately, and gets his fake flipper. So he's just jumps into the water there, right at the screen transition, holds the direction into the screen transition, and bingo bango, you're now swimming, because the game just kind of breaks at that slight moment here. Gonna see exactly what are these 2 chests going to be, as A-Rod goes ahead and he's gonna turn in his mushroom, see if he decides to keep this boomerang or not. Now we find a book here, along with a heart container.
That sequence, oh, that's a real good fairy return right there. You cannot be upset when you get a blue potion like that. That is a really, really good return. The book makes things interesting because that opens up the possibility of getting into desert. We cannot beat desert at this stage because obviously we still need a key, we still need a big key, and we need to have a pair of gloves. But, maybe you might want to see where this rabbit hole goes.
See, I mean, if this was, I don't know, if this was a not key sanity mode, I'd be more tempted to go. Woo, a fire rod, though, off a hobo. Now, there's a sequence break that you like. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're going to desert right now, you are getting one chest, and it's a long walk for that one chest, right?
I mean, you're right. I'm just thinking, do you really check to see if the rabbit hole goes? I mean, sometimes the seed can be rude like that. Now, Sulfius Rod already checked Sahasrahla. So that part has already been taken care of. We do see a shield over here. Now, of course, we're going to play Death Warp here. So for GFE, this area here, heading over to Eastern, has more value than it would for a Sulfius Rod.
Yep, no, definitely. It does kind of feel like, unfortunately, A-Rod is
Of course, Turtle Rock's a green pendant.
Half, of course. Well, good luck finding the ice rod today, boys. That's both really good, possibly, and really bad. It's gonna really come down to that ice rod. And we've also got. I also have to throw the Turtle Rock Big Key into the mix for items that just could really mess with our runners today.
Yeah, I'm gonna call them both in GT right now. I'm calling
I
it right now. 1825. I'm calling it. Oh, there's our glove.
Okay. So that opens up the back here. So this could also be one of these great seeds where it really, really, really looks like an Aga seed until it immediately isn't. So GFE's heading into Eastern. So we're going to get knowledge of exactly where these runners are supposed to go in just about maybe 2 minutes here.
Yeah, and that first chest that you mentioned there from Asclepius Rod, that is a Spear 1 chest right there. Everything else here is behind that one Hyrule Castle because you can misuse your keys. And this here, that GFE's in. Okay, there's a bow.
Oh, now if you just want to throw the Eastern Big Key in here as well and just make this a complete win for Asclepius Rod here, choosing to go this way. GFE, on the other hand, is gonna make his way through this right now. I mean, Eastern, oh man, you hate coming in here without boots and without some other things. I kind of love how the first chest here for Asclepius Rod was that glove, because that basically made his decision for the rest of this rest of Hyrule Castle here exceptionally easy, because it's just like, well, I'm just gonna go and to the basement now.
Yeah, you have the ability to grab everything here, so therefore now you can get to the back three of escape. Now, Asclepius Rod did not do that right this moment, and was hoping for. Oh, that's right, no bombs. That would be a part of the reason why we're going to purchase some, and then we're going to start at the sanctuary and go to the back three of escape.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to run back down here. Unfortunately, spend another 50 rupees on these bombs as we get another key to pod over on GFE's side. Now, that's not really changing the chests that are in logic, but at the same time, 2 keys does mean that you can get into the back. You're gonna be breaking logic and such like that, but if you can keep that in your head, you might be able to, save yourself a little bit of trouble.
All right, so Asclepius Rod is going to be checking another Spear 1 location first, and that is going to be over here at Agena. And so now we have what would be considered a different spear coming up because of the fact that we're now past Dark Rooms here at Eastern Palace.
Right, and with that lamp just being in the well, I mean, yes, this is going to be the next sphere down, but at the same time, it was really, really easy here, and we'll find out if this Eastern trip has been worth it for GFE. And
no,
yeah, you're getting a pod key, and that's about it out of that. I guess we're gonna see Asclepius Rod here. It's gonna be whatever is in the back of Hyrule Castle here.
Yep. If it turns out to be the mids, then that is the answer, and we can put off going to Aghanim for a little while longer. But for now, this is the question. Yeah, we find a big key to Turtle Rock. So we don't have to worry about that. Okay, yep, there it is. There it is. Say it with me, Days Cloud.
We got Aghanim. Yep. We got Aga. Now, to be honest, I played quite a few of these when I was practicing for this week, and there's some decisions about if you do early Aga and when exactly. One thing that I've realized through playing a few of these is that doing an early Aga has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. Like, it's just like when you're doing an open mode and you do an Aga seed, especially when it comes to Turtle Rock is the biggest problem. Because there are times where you're going to be, like in this case, we're looking for Ice Rod or something, or looking for a last Turtle Rock key so that you can open up Trinex. With having beaten Aghanim, Aga 1 at least, you run into the situation where you can't really save a portal particularly easily up on the mountain. So a lot of times it'll force you to run back all the way through the dungeon, which is just feels so bad.
Well, what this does mean is that we get to sit here and as we wait for these runners to climb up the tower, means we can just ramble on about whatever we feel like.
Pretty much. I will say, okay, I guess to kind of finish my thought there, like some of the benefits of it is that like Pyramid Fairy becomes just a complete easy thing to do. You can just walk through, especially if you have the mirror, you can just walk around, get mirror right underneath the pyramid and walk through the portal at Hyrule Castle. It does kind of make Dark World traversal a little bit easier in some ways. You can but at the same time, the moment you get a mirror, you have to remember that every time you save and quit in the Dark World, you're gonna end up on top of that tower. So, as looks like we've got GFE over here taking a death warp to get his way back up to the top of this. He's gonna go
check Dark Cross first, but yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, he's gonna have to do this because there's just not a Hyrule Castle small key anywhere to be seen. So this is the only way that you can get to Dark Cross at the moment. So, pulling up here, these guys right now, we're watching part of the Lost Woods division, which is an absolute just mess of a division. It is, the entire Invitational League is stacked teams after stacked teams after stacked teams after stacked teams right now. Now, to start off week one, both of these two teams went 0-2. Actually, everybody in the Lost Woods division either went 2-0 or 0-2 in week one. And
and the thing is that there's a lot of ways that you can get yourself back into this. Like, obviously going 2-0 at the start or 0-2 isn't going to mean anything in this 7-week process. You know, you could easily come back from this. You got to be in the top 4 of your division if you want to make it to the playoffs. Also, for those of you that are watching live right now, we do have a point prediction into play on the blue ball quantity that Aghanim's about ready to throw us. And it's either an odd or an even number if you want to partake and spend your points. Good luck if you are playing in this right now. As we get ready to climb this tower, pretty much nothing else can be said for the next 3.5 minutes, except for these two will be in the same place and they'll be thinking about what to do next. I think it kind of is clear what we need to do next, but there is one possible change where you could go and maybe find something interesting. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. We have a glove. We can get to the other side of the world.
Yeah, that's kind of the decision right now. Is do you want to do the early pod play? You have 2 keys. You can get a lot of items out of it. Or are you gonna go across the river and kind of put off pod for later? I don't know exactly what these runners would do. I think in my case, I'd probably go across the river.
Now, GFE's going to have a little bit of an easier time. That is because of the fire rod that he scooped up from the hobo. That's something that Aselpius did not do. And that's the reason why Aselpius Rod is going up the tower first over GFE. The difference is the trip over to the waterfall and the hobo pretty much here for GFE. Now, there's 3 options at this point. You can go over to the west side of the Dark World and check everything over there. I mean, we do have a big key to Thieves Town, so that can come into play. We could check over to Catfish. I know that's a one-off, but, you know, this is kind of a mode where if you try to start getting a little too cute with your routes and start skipping one-offs, one of those one-offs is going to come back to hurt you. Or you can check into Pod and see if the bow's supposed to lead to something. Like, that's a very curious bow that we found.
See, that bow's technically out of logic. Like, that's behind that Hyrule Castle small key. So if you're going over there, you can do that. I mean, you can do that, but you are taking just the slightest bit of risk that that you are breaking the logic and such like that. Now, if it pays off, you don't care.
Yeah,
You don't care
but
at all.
so your idea right now is that the runners should be trying to keep themselves in logic at this point and not try to get too far off the logic chain.
I generally like you breaking logic is a skill. You have to just remember what is it that you have found and where did you find it? Because if you start getting too far ahead of the logic, you'll start wasting time doing things that you don't need to do. But now at the same time, if you're in the area and you can finish something, there's this balance between efficiency and basically good routing. Right? Like it's really, really hard to do that. I mean, yeah, like I mean, I'm seeing P Train there, one of GFE's teammates there in chat saying he doesn't care about the Hyrule Castle Small. And to be completely honest, I wouldn't care about that either, but it would be kind of in the back of my head as something like if I find something in the right side of pod behind that thing, then at that point I start caring about the Hyrule Castle Small. You know?
All right, well, we're at 2 so far, so we are at an even number after the first cycle. But yeah, I mean, I totally get what you say, and we've seen races that have come down to runners who have gone too far off the rails as far as logic's concerned, and that there are checking things that they aren't really needing to be checking. Obviously, there are some times when having items that are pretty good too, like that fire rod that GFE has. If he decides to go to the back of Skull Woods, well, there's that as well.
Right, and then GFE, that fire rod, definitely, it seemed like he was able to climb this tower much quicker than Aselpia's rod was here, because we're both in this, and Aga is spinning over on Aselpia's rod's side, so we've now finally here, at just under the 30-minute mark, got ourselves into Dark World. Kind of wondering how both runners are feeling.
That was 3, correct?
Oh, I was not counting. I hope the trackers were counting on that.
Seems like 3, because that was only 2 lightning cycles.
Yeah, that's probably right. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure either way. And it looks like, well, got our answer for exactly what the runners are going to do here. As our tracker today, Mindful Beast, they're saying that they counted 3. So thank you to our trackers. As always, a huge part of the community, and we are very grateful for everything they do for us here.
Yeah, I counted 3 as well, so therefore congratulations to those of you who picked odd on the prediction. All right, we have a tale of 2 cities here. One who's heading to Catfish, and the other who's checking that bow in regard to the Palace of Darkness. Now, what if we get that Hyrule Castle in the shooter room?
Then we just point and laugh at the game, quite frankly, because that would just be kind of one of those things that the game likes to do and is extremely silly. But it would be, I mean, at that point, if you're Aselpia's rod, you probably feel really good about your choice there. But we're going to see in just a moment exactly what we've got. Is we've got GFE throwing a rock into the ring there to see what Catfish is going to give us today.
And it's a small key, Skullwoods.
There was a compass there for Catfish.
Hey, we got a pendant over at Thieves. Yeah, Thieves Town is a pendant, and we have crystals over at Ice and Meyer. Yeah, the words are coming to me.
No, yeah, it's one of those days here where we're gonna figure all of this out. Now we're gonna find out exactly what this bow is unlocking over on A-Rod's side. Now, if it has something interesting, we'll have to pay attention to the logic of that Hyrule Castle small key. If it's not, then we can forget about it and stop talking about it for the rest of the time. Well, we're gonna see in just a minute here as GFE is gonna make his way up towards the northern part of Hyrule here. Unfortunately, no boots, no mirrors, so he can't check any of these locations that he's basically walking past right now. Gonna get to spy Bumper Ledge, though.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Has anyone checked the Lumberjack?
No.
That'll be interesting when we finally get some boots.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess I think both of the runners have kind of decided that, you know what, I don't need to know that yet, as of course we get a small key to pod, and that was Kana Burna up there on the
That's correct.
On the Bumper Cave. So Now, unfortunately for Sylvia's Rod here, having blue mail means the Death Warp is difficult in that room, so we're going to come down and run into the spikes a few hundred times.
I counted 5.
And 5, a few hundred, you know, similar.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But that other key does kind of give Sylvia's Rod a bit of an advantage now. I mean, if I'm him, I think I burn that key on one of these 6 key locked rooms in the back. You can either choose to do the vanilla big key chest here right in the front of pod, or you can do harmless hellway, because there's a pretty good chance you're going to run into another key, and you would like to get as much out of pod as you possibly can while you're here. Now, GFE, on the other hand, in Skull Woods right now, he's got an awkward decision with that fire rod.
Yeah, it's definitely an awkward decision because of the fact that you could go to Mothula if you choose to do so. And it does look like GFE is making that route, but it could come at a price of making things a whole lot harder when you're heading to the front section and setting yourself up for another walk around the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right there, because if you can get all of those keys on all of the front chests in Skull Woods there if you steal that key from underneath the pot. Or you can use that key under the pot to go to Mothula. But the problem is you can't do both. Is we get the big key to GT there, hiding underneath the bridge here in Skull Woods, so that's really good. As also, it looks like we got our third small key to Turtle Rock here in pod on Aselpia's Rod side. I'm gonna take a little second here and just use all of these rupees to get himself very close to Zora money. Whether or not we're gonna need to do that here at some
Yeah, I forgot about that. We still have not found out what Zora has for us, and we all remember what happened in the first match between these two teams. All right, so we're gonna try to save ourselves a key. And by doing so, we're going to do this thing called the hammer jump.
You got to get yourself on it's basically a double pixel perfect jump. That was surprisingly hard to say. And he's working on it here. There's a visual cue that you can use to get it. And there you go. He had it a second ago, it looked like. And but he's got a little bit of a time crunch here. Yep, it's got it this time. And with any luck, he'll be able to get himself over. I don't know if he has that there. He might be 1 pixel too low.
Oh.
Yeah, that one was 1 pixel too high there. Yeah, hammer jump is not easy, and to be honest, if you're doing it and you're not 100% confident, I recommend going down, and just resetting your screen at the bottom of that room. There's GFE just takes down Moth while we were watching A-Rod here work on this and gets a cape out of that. That's interesting.
Well, that is how you're supposed to get the cannon burner, but I don't think we're going to see GFE doubling back for this. Positioning is proper this time around, and now we can get these two that are absolutely out of logic here for Sluppiest Rod.
So yeah, that's do you take the time to go get Burna?
No.
No. I mean, you just assume that at some point the cape will be enough to get through Spike Cave or so. That's
Pretty
probably
much.
the right
I mean,
play.
you've got 2 bottles at this point in time, so.
True.
Palace of Darkness turned out to be empty here for Sluppiest Rod. Really, nothing of major note. I mean, yeah, we did get a vanilla key, but now Sluppiest Rod's going to have to make the way over to the other side of the world, just like GFE is now.
Yeah, and sure enough, we are going to be kind of locked out of these 3 chests on the left here, and GFE is just deciding to go for this. Now, unfortunately, this is going to force a save and quit, so he's going to have to walk all the way back around this northern part again. Now, A-Rod...
Unless he gets the mitts.
True. Yeah, if he gets the mitts, or gets a mirror. Well, I guess a mirror wouldn't help, but yeah, either one would be kind of interesting here. Let's see what we get.
Hard container, which is a no.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, you'll take it, but...
Red rupee, which is a no. then behind door number 3, we find... Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, looks like you could have skipped that, but I mean, it's 3 chests. You're not gonna skip that unless you really are feeling ambitious there. Now, kind of interesting. One of the good things for A-Rod there is since he went ahead and went to pod, he did pick up a Skullwood small key at one point here. So no matter what, if he were to say somehow, Gigabrain the Fire Rod location right now, he would be able to complete Skullwoods in his first trip, but looks like he's probably going to end up making 2 trips as well. So honestly, it's not really that big of a difference for either runner, as GFE looks to be making his way over to pod.
Yep, we're going to swap positions now. Whoo-wee. Yeah, this is interesting. Now, maybe Asclepius Rod stays out of Skullwoods, considering the fact that he does not have the Fire Rod. Maybe he goes and looks at that Thieves' Town big key and is like, you've given this to me for a reason. Now, of course, we can't logically beat this dungeon because we don't have the Thieves' Town small key to go with it, but... maybe there's something up in the attic, which of course isn't in logic either, but maybe there's something in the maiden cell.
Yeah, that's the one that's always the strange one, because like if you played this game long enough, you've had something stupid like the hammer in the maiden cell.
Which we know is not going to be the case this time around, but we do know we are still missing 2 items that would get us that hammer.
I mean, it could just be the mirror in the maiden cell at that point, which would lead us to the hammer, or admits in the maiden cell, which is a step towards like that hammer being on floating island right now is just kind of sitting there, just hanging over our heads.
It's taunting our runners.
Oh yeah, totally. As and GFE sees that key to Skullwoods, lays a bomb to let his feelings be known on that subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it out there, GFE.
I mean, that's always the way it is in Key Sanity. It's like, all right, I'm going to burn this key. Oh, come on. That's just what you get there.
Yeah. And because he's already finished off with Skullwoods, that key is absolutely useless.
Yes. Yeah. No, he's not going to go back to Skullwoods unless he ends up with the Skullwoods big key. And even then, at that point, it's going to be such a low priority on his radar. So he'll be doing lots of other things instead. As right now we know that he's not really going to get anything too interesting out of here. But he's going to make his way through, taking some more damage on the way, which is kind of smart here. Make this death warp that he's got to do a little bit easier.
Just as long as you don't over death warp.
That has happened here with the blue mail. Luckily, okay, he went a little far for my liking, but
yeah. And you want to know how I know that you can go too far with a death warp? Because I have done it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think most people who have played that game kind of know exactly what it is here. All right, A-Rod kind of getting stuck on the switch there, able to pull it over. No problems there on his side.
And you kind of feel sheepish when you wind up going that effort to get the death warp, and you find out that you couldn't even get the chest because you death warped a little too efficiently.
Yeah, it's not a great feeling.
It's also not especially a good walk of shame.
Yeah, the walk back is the worst part. It's just you're sitting there questioning, why did I do that? What am I doing? At the same time as you're like, just get it out of your head. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Now, we are about ready to get some new checks in here, so therefore we can actually talk about things that are not my failures and link to the fast randomizer.
About time we can actually do some new things here. So okay, let's start off with C-shaped house here. Hopefully this will be something interesting. Come around the corner and grab a heart container. So that's gonna
heart.
Sank heart. So we're gonna be up at 8 hearts now on A-Rod's side. Looks like GFE's already to 8 hearts there. So I'm kind of, where did GFE get the extra 1? Oh,
maybe something to do with the waterfall.
Yeah, that's probably it here. All right, so let's try bombable house here. Is this going to be our progression?
Survey says, oh, yes.
Yeah, that's progression right there. That opens up a ton.
That's what Sphere-finity really needed GFE to grab.
Oh,
I just saw that. That is
Yeah.
a big discovery right there. And the Supplius Rod might be a while before he gets to that. That is the Swamp Small, which is one of those ones that love to be so hard to get to. Okay, so getting that mitts, that was good for a Supplius Rod. Not getting the Swamp Small that GFE now has, that's bad. It evens out now.
Yeah, that's the thing. The problem for SLP's route is GFE is 100% not going to miss those mitts. Like he
Yeah,
will hit those.
and that's the thing, is that the mitts are more of a chokehold than the Swamp Small is.
And it's very easy on top of that to miss that chest there in Harmless Hellways. But as SLP's route does get a tempered sword, which is nice. That'll make the rest of the game, significantly easier for him. But it is very easy to go back to pod and go back with, only say 4 keys and then decide, you know what, I'm going to open the big key chest and kill Helma. Harmless Hellway, I'm just going to gamble, has nothing. And if he does that...
Oh, yes, you're right, because of the fact... Flippers, okay, so that bow's now in logic. No, that bow's not in logic.
Fire Rod's
now in logic.
But yeah, no, it's getting interesting. All of a sudden, we went from not having kind of just feeling like we're just talking about whatever here to the game getting very, very interesting very quickly here. Those
That's
mitts
what this one does.
It does. Those mitts opened up Dark Death Mountain. It opened up Misery Mire. Now, for these runners, it opened up Ice Palace, but dear God, you don't want to go there yet without that hammer. But it did open it up. Smith Chain. I mean, we've got options. All of a sudden, we went from just an extremely linear seed to, hey, guess what, guys? Good luck guessing where you need to go next.
Yep. I mean, those mitts are one of those biggest things where it opens up the seed wide. And here's another thing. You mentioned Ice Palace. You don't have any keys for it, so it's a really, really tough call to make if you want to dive that dungeon right into this point. Really tough. And yeah, you can't beat it without the hammer. If the mirror's there, that's disgusting.
Mirror being in the first chest of Ice Palace has never happened in any seed ever. And I refuse to say...
How about the big chest?
It's happened so many times. I just think, especially the first one is one that doesn't require any keys, right? And
that's right.
So you can just walk in there, and that could just be where your mirror is, and I will guarantee that the runners, that would be the last thing that they would do. Well, I mean, they maybe would do that before Smith Chain, but I mean, mirrorless Smith Chain is just awful. But pretty quick here on Aselpius Rod's side, he's going to show us exactly what is the one thing that this Thieves Town big key puts into logic, and hopefully it's something interesting, but it's probably just going to be something like 20 rupees.
You are incorrect.
I am very incorrect.
So that is the magic powder. Now, there's nothing that we can do with it logically because we can't get to magic bat. We need to have either the hammer or the mirror, and we know which one we're going to be finding first in this seed.
Yep, the hunt for the mirror continues on these guys' side here, and I'm 99% sure that both of them are aware of the hammer location there. They were both up there.
They both checked. Yep, they both know that the hammer is where it is. This is definitely turning into a very difficult setup here for both of these runners. I have a guess where the mirror might be.
Shoot.
Nice blind fight for this Supplius Rod. I have a guess. I think we're going to walk all the way around to Hype Cave, and that's where the mirror is going to show up. So for those of you that are joining in here at the 47-minute mark of this run, the hammer sits on the floating island. Yay.
Yep, we got to see that before we had any sort of gloves or anything like that. So we had a pretty good idea that yeah, these guys were probably going to have to go through AGA, which they both have. They both have completed that there. So right now we're looking at basically about a two dungeons, because you gotta count AGA as well. 2 dungeons completed on both sides here. GFE going for his third here in just a minute. There is a whole lot of... there's the powder here in Thieves Town that GFE will get in a minute, but right now we're kind of more watching Asopius Rod's screen here, because he's kind of leading the way through the Dark World right now. I'm gonna pick up a small key here to Skull Woods.
Oh, God. Well, that's 2 Skullwood small keys that we've already seen, and just for those of you that are sitting here unsure of how logic works in key sanity, you need to have all 3 Skull Smalls before Mothula is in consideration.
And interestingly enough, when we saw GFE beat Mothula earlier, we did see Mothula drop a cape. Now, that cape technically unlocks the Cane of Burna, and this is when I start going, okay, what's in Spike Cave? I mean, that's still a few steps away. We still need to get Mirror and still need to get Hammer at that time, but the moment that you actually have an in-logic Moth, I start getting very curious about what is behind it.
You're very untrustworthy of this seed.
Oh, I played a god-awful one of these yesterday. So...
I played a god-awful one of these yesterday, and it was GFE's fault.
Well, see, there you go. You got to blame GFE on things like this. So we're going to get a quick look here at the bomb shop here. We'll find out our red crystals are Tower of Hera and Palace of Darkness today. So we're gonna keep working through this right now.
That's 5 dungeons that we know crystal status of yet at this point.
An excellent blind kill over there on GFE's side. He's going to pick up his 3rd bottle. There's our half magic to make me even more...
Ice Rod. Okay, so we're not digging anything in GT at this point. Well, maybe the GT big key.
Well, that's fantastic there. So an Ice Rod and half magic is pretty much what we get out of this, and that is not making me feel less paranoid about Spike Cave, I'll tell you that much.
Why are you so worried about this seed?
I don't know. I don't really have good reasons there. I got no answer there for you, Rick. Sorry. But let's get a quick look.
Would you like to show us on the doll where the seed hurt you?
It's not this seed, it's yesterday's seed.
Okay, where on the doll did yesterday's seed hurt you?
Left side swamp.
Oh,
with
God.
with the Misery Mire big key. That's where it hurt me.
That's awful.
But so it doesn't look like we're gonna be in this. And is A-Rod? Oh, I was about to say for a second there, I thought A-Rod was going into Ice Palace, and then I remembered he doesn't have the Fire Rod yet. He's just doing his flippers checks right now. He's
about to get the Fire Rod, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's going to have an option here. Now, he has the money, and we actually have not seen what's on Zora's Ledge right now. And we have not seen the item from Zora either, so he's going to likely take that all the way up there to see exactly what we've got there.
Just because I'm on commentary does not mean that the seed is going to be awful. There's no correlation towards that. There's not like there's a whole bunch of speed gaming YouTube videos that can prove that point. I just made it worse, didn't I?
Yeah, you made it worse there. It's just, congratulations, you've now guaranteed a 2.5-hour seed. Thanks, Rick.
I mean, it was all Dungeons Key Sanity. It's going to be 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is faux all Dungeons Key Sanity again. So for anybody who is not wondering what the F in front of the AD keys there, it's faux all Dungeons Key Sanity, which meant that two of our Castle Tower keys were just vanilla. We just put them right into the dungeon to kind of keep us from having to walk around searching for those things and opening up every chest in the game. Instead, we're gonna open up every chest in the game for other items, because you know that's completely different. But now we're gonna get to see exactly what is up here in the Zora area.
And 560 rupees, which, by the way, GFE at this point does not have the rupees to pay for it. There's a 20 right there, so that's absolutely unnecessary.
Just quick shout outs there to GFE. I saw him practicing his chest turns there in in Hype Cave. We saw you, bud. Well done. A-Rod's swimming his way over to Zora here. Man, Zora's domain without boots doesn't feel good.
Oh.
I tried to get him to throw boots.
I know you tried to, but
it didn't work.
You know, we don't have that secret energy at this point to do the commentator curses at this point.
It does not seem that way.
New check. New check. Oh
yep,
boy,
new
check.
Misery Mire area. We're going to be able to get 2 checks here and see exactly what the medallion requirement is.
I vote Quake.
Let's go Vanilla Ether. What do we got here? It is Ether.
Vanilla Ether. You are correct. And Sulface Rod's going to be going and finishing off Skullwoods at this point. All right, what do we have inside of Buyer's Shed? We have, of course.
Yeah. And now at this point here, you're going to go ahead, pop over, check Checkerboard Cave, probably go ahead and check the whatever item is the one item that you can get to in Desert. Peek at the torch.
And then you're hightailing it to the mountain. Get your hammer.
Yeah. Immediately, like you're gonna finish off the checks in the area, but then you are getting that hammer immediately. You are out of here.
Where do you go to next? Tower of Pharaoh? I mean, we can cheat and beat Tower of Pharaoh. Not logically, but that's why we call it cheating.
No, you're not wrong. We could very easily do that. I mean, we did get that Tower of Pharaoh small key early. GFE almost saving a quitting out of there, and then hopefully remembering that Checkerboard Cave is a thing, and probably should go do it.
When has that ever come into play?
A few times, I don't know. But we're gonna move on here. Let's see what it is. I'm kind of trying. Yeah, I'm trying to piece out what your question there, Rick. I think there's a part of me that might be tempted to go to Ice Palace, but with no keys,
I'm surprised you don't grab those 300 rupees because you don't have Zora money at this point, GFE. But okay, well that's fine. You'll just end up on the top of the pyramid, and now we're gonna see where you go to next. And you're gonna show us that your next stop here is going to be. Oh, there was a big key on the Lake Hylia island.
Right. So are we swimming up through there? We're gonna take the portal.
I think we're gonna swim there.
All right. Yeah. I guess. I mean, I'm curious if this route is faster than going down to have get it.
Okay, Days Cloud. Yes. I want you to pull up my race. Me and Synax race against Jay Meisher and Plasma Kappa from Sunday night. Okay. Apparently, according to the commentary for that race, we took 4 different paths to get there. I think if somebody really wanted to take an analysis on which route is faster to get to this island, we probably could get that answer by way of that VOD.
I'll take a look then for sure. So okay, so what is this big key? This big key is the big key to Tower of Pharaoh. There you go. Your decision has now been made for you. You know exactly where you need to go and what to do. And is GFE? No, I was about to say. Where's he going? Oh, he's going to Zora.
Graveyard Ledge, maybe?
Graveyard Ledge would make sense. Graveyard Ledge would make sense. Right. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a bit of a winding route there, but like getting to Graveyard Ledge is
Yeah,
never
Graveyard
easy.
Ledge.
Right.
Okay. We're not going to get ruined by a loose square at this point because that is definitely a loose square. If that turns out to be something good, like maybe the boots or maybe silvers or something like that, then advantage GFE.
Yeah, he'll mirror his way through through this. Go check what's inside real quick, and then he's got to head to the mountain after this. There's just too many good things up there available to him. Now, I'm very curious what our last pendant's going to be as Graveyard Ledge. That's just going to be 20 rupees. We're not interested in that.
Alrighty, so as we make our way to the purple chest for Les French Canadienne, we see Sphere-finity climbing up to the mountain. Gonna go grab that hammer. Gonna go ahead and do some Tower of Hera. There are a bunch of checks that we can do up here, including the Ether tablet.
That's right. Yeah, that book that we pulled out of Waterfall, the Waterfall Ferry right now is definitely kind of interesting now. GFE deciding, you know what, I don't want to go this way first.
Oh, he
I'm
wants the hammer
instead...
first. He wants the hammer first because otherwise he has no way to the right side of the mountain. Oh, big key in the big... Oh, that's not a key you really ever want to see, but you're going to take it.
I mean, I'll disagree with you there. I say I always love finding that key early. That's just one of those things that, like, because the chest is on the way if you're clearing the dungeon the first time.
I mean, you're not wrong with that. I'm just more along the lines of, okay, you definitely don't need that. You don't 100% need that key to beat the game. Logically, you do, but it's kind of like having the big key to the Tower of Hera. You don't necessarily need it, but you're not going to question getting it.
Very true. Very true. I mean, the way I'm kind of looking at it is it gives Aesophius Rod almost another out.
Hey,
There
there's
we
the
go.
Hyrule Castle Small, and there's the Cane of Samaria. So that bow now is in logic.
That bow is in logic, and depending, you know, if we were to say land the Turtle Rock medallion here out of Hookshot Cave here, we could go and clear Turtle Rock. We'd end up leaving Lava Chest, which of course these guys would probably question, but we'll see exactly here. Now, I was just thinking with that Ice Palace big key right there, there's a non-zero chance that GFE will never get that. Now, if that chest has something, that's a big out for A-Rod there, because GFE has the Swamp Small over him right now. Yeah, there's I don't know, there's some questions exactly, like, which way are we gonna go here, as, GFE leaves Hookshot Cave and then goes, oh, right, the hammer.
Well, you've got questions. We don't have answers at this point.
That's the fun of this. We're gonna find out the answers here probably within the next, like, 30 to 40 minutes, exactly what's gonna happen with this. Like, the races, started off, you know, with our runners having to check everything in the light world. And then very quickly has morphed into, hey, good luck finding where everything is. A-Rod, you don't have to leave. You can, too little late now.
Well, you don't have to leave, but you can't stay here. But we do find out that it is Quake, so it is vanilla medallions for this seed.
Okay, and yeah, we're gonna go over towards Tower of Hera right now, because we have a fully completable dungeon here. We've got 6 items available. We've got the Ether tablet on the outside.
Hey, I do want to point this out, Days Cloud.
Uh-oh.
Do you see what Aesophius Rod is doing?
He's up on the mountain.
Yes, he is. Now, here's the big thing. If there's something in that big chest of the Tower of Hera, that's another big move here where Sphere-finity could end up stamping a foot into the seed. But if it's nothing, then no harm, no foul to Aesophius Rod. But that's going to be nearly a last location if there is something in that big chest, because I can guarantee you at this point that Aesophius Rod, while he's up here, is going to Hera Pop.
Yeah. You're not wrong here. This is one of those times where, I mean, I assume Aesophius Rod can Hera Pot there. I mean, we don't know. And hey, there's Quake.
So guess what? We can finish Turtle Rock now.
Yeah, we've got a lot to do on this mountain all of a sudden here, as Aesophius Rod picks up his Cane of Samaria, picks up his key to this. GFE, I hope you weren't planning on Hera potting right now, because you picked that thing up out of the air. So
He
down
went
to the
downstairs
basement.
and realized it, I think.
Yeah, as a hopeful, as some of as you know, if this is your first time watching here, there is a trick called Harapot where you can kind of just skip half of the dungeon here. You push yourselves into the pot, but you cannot pick up one of the items, one of the enemy drops, while it's in the air. If you do that, it messes up with some values in the game, and you'll have to mirror out and do a whole bunch of craziness. But uh, not likely going to be a problem here for GFE since he's now taking a coffee break and we are watching A-Rod hookshot across some gaps, get himself up to 11 hearts as well.
Yeah, I've been about to get that hammer in just a moment as well. We'll get us over here to this side of the mountain that GFE is in. All right. After watching all those tiles fly, what was the hero small good for? 3 bombs. All right, so now that we've mirrored, we can maybe get this thing going, and this time we are not going to touch that drop. So GFE is going to set himself up against those blocks that are in the up position. Try to set himself up based on a tile position over here, trying to get himself straightened up. Drops down the bomb. Now it's going to try to get himself lined up, but he ran out of time. That bomb went off really, really fast, unfortunately. So now we're going to try to set himself up with another bomb opportunity here, and now it's just trying to line himself up. A lot of people like to use that chest as a marker for what you're looking for. There, it pulls off the Harapot, now going upstairs.
That looked like the new variation of that there, the one that we kind of dubbed Philly Pot after Philisty who found that. It's a little bit more forgiving than the.
Okay, well that's the bombos. That's not necessary to beat the game,
yeah.
but it is a helpful thing.
Got really worried there for a second there, and it was just like, wait, no, we don't need that actually. But yeah, so that was concerning for a brief moment for Sulfius Rod, but he's going to be okay there.
If that was either, that would be kind of a major moment here for Sphere-finity.
You know, at that point, you almost go, it's not game over, but oh, that's real close at that point. So interesting idea. I never thought about that from GFE. Putting on that cape before you jump down into Moldorm so he can't hit you. That was a very quick fight there.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the amazing thing about these kind of matches here, tournament matches, league matches. You get to learn so many strats from these runners.
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite things about doing any sort of commentary stuff like this is just because it forces me to focus on what each individual runner does. So when one of them does something amazing, I can steal it for later.
Okay, so what have you stolen for later use?
We'll see. What is it? I just more like I'm trying to think of like individual room strats and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, I think,
sure.
You know, Meyer 2 is one of those things like I never really understood how doing Meyer 2, and then I think I watched Willard just blast through it one day. Willard J. Bradley blast through it one day, and I was like, oh, that's how you do it. And then a few rounds of practice, and you know, Bob's your uncle now. You can do Meyer 2 pretty decent.
You know, there's a lot of strats, you know. If you are a member of the league right now, whether you're in the open league or in the invitational league, you know, there's certain things that you can still learn. Everyone is still learning in this game. It's never ending.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like you go through and you do this, and it looks like A-Rod is doing the this is the more difficult Harapot setup here, where he's got to get there's all sorts of sub-pixels involved and stuff like that. Got it, no problem there. So well done on his side. As GFE is into Turtle Rock here, going to take his 3 keys, hope for a 4th key. If he gets it, great, and if he doesn't, well, you know, that's when you pray nothing is in lava chest.
Yeah, for sure.
I think GFE wanted a hook shot there or something. Ended up throwing a Cane of Samaria block down in the middle of the room.
Don't steal that strat.
Nah, that's not a strat you really want. Don't do that one.
But yeah, that's the thing is that you there's a lot of things still to learn. Like obviously the big thing from the main tournament was the Moldorm bounce, and of course that's also coming into play now that we're in SpeedGaming Live qualifiers, given some of how those seeds have been playing out. But a lot of learning that runners new and old can learn as we move through this game to discover strats. Polish up your strats that you have, polish up your room fights, because even room fights, as you mentioned, Meyer too. Maybe you've been doing it wrong all along, and now you're just seeing somebody who whizzes through it about 15 seconds faster than it takes you to do that room.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people here. So unfortunately, both runners getting caught by this dead rock on the bridge. That guy is an absolute jerk. I'm just gonna say it right now. Like, he loves to get in the way of that bridge.
And that position is only because of the fact that these runners have done Aghanim.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing. Doing Aga early, there's not a supreme amount of benefits, as somehow that was enough space for A-Rod to fit through.
I'm surprised about that one.
But I mean, if the game forces you to beat Aga, well, that's what you kind of got to do.
But yeah, getting back to the Strands thing.
Yeah, it's just going through and learning things. It's interesting if you're in enough of the rando communities here, and especially all of the new things that people learn. It's just like you've kind of got to pay attention, or you're going to end up missing something that could end up saving you a lot of time. I've seen a lot of people work on rooms, especially in like Turtle Rock. There's a lot of like you kind of occasionally for rando you want to pay a little bit of attention to what some of the NMG players are doing as well. Like a lot of people play NMG. There are no major glitches. The vanilla speedrun there to kind of improve their rando skills, because it helps. I'm not one of them because I don't like knowing where all the items are anymore.
Yeah, I totally get you with that one. But obviously, there is some to learn by doing NMG runs. It's how to do rooms faster. When you have a clock that's counting up how fast it's taking for you to do each dungeon, and you notice, oh my goodness, I have an 8-minute dungeon, and the best runners are doing it in like 6 minutes, then obviously you're going to want to find out how to do those faster, because that's the ways that you end up bleeding time. We get a big key inside the Mimic, and that's the Meyer Big.
Okay, so we can't do anything with it yet because we still need Ether Medallion, but as soon as we find Ether Medallion, that'll give us another completable dungeon.
Yeah.
And we also know over from Aselpius Rod there that that Ice Palace Big Key is just sitting right there. So if you want to go beat Ice Palace, I mean, having the big key is... I mean, you don't have a small key, so yeah, a little annoying. You have to kind of route it a little differently, but I mean... you can clear it and get every chest in it, so it should be kind of high on your priority list right about now.
Quick swapping is an art that runners, a lot of runners finesse, but it's always interesting when you see them make a oops, like what you just saw from GFE, like earlier with the Samaria block, and then there where he ended up launching off both the boomerang, then the cane, or rather the hook shot, then finally got to the bomb.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than when you're kind of only half paying attention to what item you have currently active, and you're quick swapping, and you see something blue, and you're like, my bombs, and then you hit the button, and you realize that wasn't the bombs, that was the mirror.
Oh, yes, and that's happened before. Let me see, swap from the bow to the bombs. Whoops.
Yep, and it's like, oh great, now I'm in the wrong part of the dungeon, and we're now playing Chase the Pokey over on Aselphius Rod's side, as that works kind of because he was going to steal the key anyway. As we're into Laser Bridge here for GFE. I didn't see the first chest, but the second chest just had a pod 4. Okay, well that's good. And yeah, there we go. That's not a whole lot there in Laser Bridge. Fourth pod key's kind of nice, but we're just gonna go ahead and I guess take that and head our way back over to Trinex now with a tempered sword and everything else. I don't think GFE should have too much trouble here, but
yeah,
things can go sideways.
If you do your fight the right way, this should be a fine fight. Don't forget this Trinex is for 2 items because it's the green pendant.
That is true. That is true. So yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but yeah, we are getting a 2-item Trinex, which is not something we usually ever do in this game. But since we're doing all Dungeons Key Sanity, we are here to beat them up. And both the ice and the fireheads down very quickly on GFE's side. Nicely done here. You're gonna go for a double spin and into a slash here to try to take him out as quickly as possible. Didn't quite get the double spin, but cleans it up pretty well.
Yeah. All right, what do we got coming off here at the center of the room with the Trinex down? It is a small key, and that is pod 5.
Okay, now that's actually really, really good for a Selpius Rod.
Yeah, the fact that he's going to get 2 pod keys here in the back section will give him incentive. In fact, for runners who know how to do the hammer yump, 5 keys is all you need to beat the dungeon.
Exactly. We've already seen a Selfius Rod do the hammer yump, so there's no questions there by any means. The other thing, the one negative thing towards on his way right now is if it turns out that the pod big key is locked in swamp.
Yeah, and that still is a possibility. Because the game likes to be the way this game is, but maybe we find the Eastern big key somewhere else that will give Acephalus Rod a reason to check what he didn't get the first time around inside of the Palace of Darkness.
Exactly. I mean, it's still early. I mean, it's early, and we're talking about a seed that we're an hour and 14 minutes in on right now. As Spike Cave, as just shows that sometimes. The Skullwood small keys are just Skullwood small keys and are not something you need to worry about.
They're non-negotiable, not for sale, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, exactly. Because for those tuning in today, we had Skullwood behind Mothiel today was that cape that GFE used to get into to break through Spike Cave there, but turned out to be nothing. So, hey, nothing, no harm, no foul. Now, GFE, where are you heading?
This is an interesting decision here. Now, is GFE going to do the purple chest? He's got a bigger reason to check this now because of hammer pegs, which is something we haven't seen yet because we finally got this hammer going up to this long trip up the mountain. So it's possible that this will be leading to the ice big for GFE.
Yeah, and that'll be closing down one of the advantages that Selfius Rod does have right now. But yeah, that is exactly where we are headed here. We're into hammer pegs, and if you're going to come this far, you're 100% going to go ahead and make sure that you clear out purple chest too.
And there's the pod key for Selfius Rod, and we will see what we have instead of the hammer pegs. Next up, coming up here, well, we do have a small key. And it is oh god! Thank you, game.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Guess what you've now left behind. Yep, GFE.
He's behind a bomb at
that is the right reaction there, sir. And not getting the not getting the purple chest
powder
first.
Magic bat.
I still would have gotten the purple chest first. But yeah,
now, did GFE check K45? I don't think he has, so that might be a bigger reason to not check it at that point, as we do get ourselves a map. Hooray.
The Desert Palace, that's something we don't know yet, so I mean, that could come in handy, because that might tell us exactly what our last pendant is right now, because at the moment, we know 2 of our pendants. We've got knowledge on... We know that there are 3 dungeons available right now.
Swamp is our pendant.
Swamp is our pendant, and we have a Swamp small key over on GFE's side. So if he wants to, we could have the fun thing where if GFE wants to go ahead and pull Ped, he can go ahead and do it. We're missing a Thieves Town small key right now to put that into logic, but we could have a an SG chat special here.
All right, K45 coming up here for GFE, and As Sluthiest Rod is going to be heading to get that big key, and he's going to be mortified when he finds out that's the Tower of Hera. We found the Eastern Big in K45.
Okay, so what are we missing right now? Legitimately,
Well,
we are
we
missing.
still need the Desert Big. We still need the Palace of Darkness Big, and
Ether Medallion.
I think we probably still need a. No, we don't. We don't need another GT small. We've got enough GT smalls. We need Ether, of course, as you just pointed out.
Yeah, and to be honest, we don't need a honestly, if you have the GT big key, you don't technically if you have everything else, you don't need a GT small.
Yeah,
ever.
you're right, because we do have one small. We're fine in that regards.
So GFE gets his Ice Palace big key. Now we're gonna get to see Bombo's tablet. Did we see Bombo's tablet from a Sulpius Rod? I don't think we did.
No.
Yeah, not without the mirror, right? So this is another thing that GFE is going to get to see. But with speaking of a Sulpius Rod, he is in Ice Palace right now.
All right, from Bombos, we get ourselves a compass, and we get 10 bombs out of the first chest inside of this Ice Palace.
Yeah, we got a compass there, so we can now count exactly how many items we've gotten out of Palace of Darkness today. So, yeah, whatever.
Yay.
Yeah. But more importantly, though, we're going into Swamp, it looks like.
Yeah, I think this is the right way of doing this. Like, if you have the items to beat a dungeon, you beat the dungeon.
Yeah. Now here's the great question here. I remember from my race yesterday, watching it back, watching GFE kind of questioning my decision to skip left side swamp. So I kind of expect him to not skip left side swamp, and if he does, I am going to let him hear about it.
I'll let you handle the interview in that case.
But we'll see exactly what he does here. He's still looking for 3 items. I got to imagine if you're coming to Swamp this early here, we're gonna be going to doing this now. GFE got this Swamp Small out of the
Desert Big.
Yeah, he got that out of the Harmless Hellway there in Pod. But yeah, Desert Big. That's a much bigger deal. Okay, gonna get a bug net here out of the second chest in this. Looks like a Sophie's Rod trying to go for that little clip through the stairs there. And now he's gonna have to wait for the firebar to get out of the way.
And that's pod 6.
Man, if you're rooting for a Sulpius Rod right now, you really want to see this pod key show up immediately, because you'd rather him not have to make a triple dip back there. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see exactly which way this is gonna shake out for him.
If we see the Palace of Darkness big key over here on GFE's side, that is bad news for Sulpius Rod.
Yeah, there are still. Let's see here. We don't have the big key, so there are 7 chests left in Swamp right now. And GFE, with taking that route where he drops down from the top after getting that small key there under the skull, tells you exactly he's going left side. And he's setting up right now for his for a diver down over here to get there.
There's a small key, and oh, thank you, game.
Useful. All right, so goes up here. The bomb goes off there to flip the switch over, and now GFE can just go and swim over to left side and find out exactly what is hiding back here for us, to see if it's something good or if it's not. Now, if it's nothing, and a Sulpius Rod decides to skip it, then that could save some time, because I mean, left side swamp there's a reason people skip it. It's slow, it's annoying, it takes a good full additional minute plus to do. We'll find out exactly. Woohoo, that's important. That's really important.
There's a bomb laid down right there, but that is a huge find. And okay, 20 rupees. So That now makes it a pod big key for go mode for GFE. Now, I will point this out. There are still two big keys out there at play. The Palace of Darkness big key and the Swamp big key.
Yeah, man, this is starting to close in on a Sulpius Rod. Because if it turns out that this pod now we've got this pod big key, if it's in Mire, that's just as bad. The list of places that a Sulpius Rod does not want to see the pod big key is unfortunately growing. Now, I mean, if we find the swamp big key somewhere for a Sulpius Rod, and it turns out that that is where your pod big key is, well then, hey, interesting. Now we had a book out there for a second. I almost thought Sulpius Rod was going to go check ourselves a pedestal check. There we go. Words.
I think this is going to be, if he turns south, it's K45. If he turns north, it's Graveyard Ledge. I think we've already checked Graveyard. No, we already did on GFE's side, not on the Sulpius Rod. But this is going to be Hammer Pegs into K45, so we'll get the Eastern Big. That might help.
That might help quite a bit, yeah, because, I mean, that would point you back over in that direction. Okay, we're going to check Powder and probably do... I imagine we're doing Hammer Pigs over here on Sulpius. Or did we... No, we wouldn't have done Hammer Pigs on this. I'm trying to remember exactly which runner has done. I will say this about GFE's routing today. It has been pretty smooth. A couple of times where we've kind of wondered exactly what he's doing, but he's obviously been doing quite well here if he's sitting here one item from go mode at under the hour 30 mark.
That's a good feeling to have when you're playing Low Dungeons Key Sanity.
Yeah, very quick clear of those first couple of puffs there. Unfortunately, gets away there. Gonna have to reset it up. Gets him on the rebound. Takes him down 2 fire rod shots and a tempered sword spin there for a compass and 2 Eastern Palace. But we now have all 3 pendants over on GFE's side.
As Sulpius Rod is knocking down some pegs. Again, we'll soon head on over towards Cave 45. There's going to be the Turtle Rock 4 for a Sulpius Rod, and you're feeling really fantastic about yourself when you find that. But we're going to first go to 8. We are going to do Ice Palace first.
Yeah, for GFE, it's probably Ice Palace, going to Misery Mire there, and at the last one you're going to do, I imagine, is Eastern Palace there, because you're hoping that you find the pod big key before you head back over into that area, because if you can just combo Eastern Palace and pod, hey, fantastic, you're done. But, you know, until then, you've got some other things to do. Nice use of that boomerang by GFE there. That was slick.
I mean, people actually get a good use of that boomerang in this game.
The things you can do with the boomerangs, it's just beautiful. Bees and boomerangs are things that are underrated items as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I have a feeling I know what's about to happen here. And this isn't a bad thing for Sulpius Rod, but I have a feeling this is going to be a Bombos and check that first chest of Swamp.
Yeah, that's possible, for sure. Definitely going to do Bombos.
And if that is the case, that's going to delay A-Rod from getting back into the Palace of Darkness. Oh, he can't do Mire because he can't get into there. Never mind.
Right. That's the thing right now, is Mire is locked behind that swamp small key, which is...
He's not doing it. Okay, he's not doing it. So he's not going to get the Desert Big just yet. Fluting to 5. We are going into the Dark World, so we are going to get back into the Palace of Darkness during this check.
Yeah, now, here, if for a Sulpius Rod, this is actually quite good, and also oh man, there's so many elements at play right now. So now, if it turns out that the pod big key is in Eastern, that's great for him. He gets the swamp. He gets the swamp small key. He gets that. He goes into swamp. But the problem is that we know that the other thing's on left side swamp.
So many caveats to this here. But
Yeah.
first, we're going to check something else, and that is what the second item on Trenix, that green pendant, leads to us this time around. And it's just a little bit of love from our friend Sahasrara.
Well, at this point, I have to shout out the fact that we are almost an hour and 30 minutes into the seed and still do not have boots.
That's because the boots are probably in Ganon's tower.
Oh, almost assuredly. Almost assuredly. It's just sitting around here having to walk everywhere in this seed. Just it feels nice, let me tell you. And going through, grabbing a 6th pod key over for GFE, gonna get his big chest as well. Compass the Tower of Hera, so yay. And on Aselphius Rod's side, we're going to get to see the 2 chests here that are in Eastern Palace.
Yep, the big chest, and then, of course, behind the Armos.
And then, you know, and it's kind of funny. We've been talking about how this 6th pod key is, these pod keys were such a big deal for Aselphius Rod. I did kind of forget that there is another option that would hurt GFE in that case, which is having the
Skull! I forgot we didn't have Skull Wood's big key.
Well, that's still good.
All right, well, the point prediction still remains between Swamp and Palace of Darkness.
But yeah, we didn't check the pod big key chest. I don't believe.
You know we haven't, and now with the 6 keys, you are checking that.
Yeah, so that is one thing that Aselphius Rod is going to check that GFE is not going to check probably until the very end of the game. So, God, you know, if that turns vanilla, all of a sudden what looks like a pretty clear GFE advantage at the moment gets considerably less so.
I like the fact that we're using Beam Sword here for GFE. But loses him out of the corner, but does use the remaining Fire Rod shots to take down Cold Stare. All right. As the Aselphius Rod facing off against the Armos Knights. Having a little bit of an issue here. Got him out of the corner the way you normally would. I think he was just a little too far to the right in order to get them set up the right way. And we get ourselves a Piece of Heart and the Crystal.
Right, GFE looks like he's going to make his way over to the Mire. No, we're going to the eastern area first. We're going to Pod and Eastern. I'm a little surprised by this right now. And we'll see exactly what comes of this. I'm very surprised actually that GFE's doing this one first.
Mm-hmm. And it turns out to be just a red rupee inside of the big key chest of the Palace of Darkness. As we head towards the back, this is where Aselphius Rod will get that small key to Swamp Palace.
All right, and then the hunt is afoot for that, so that'll give basically, let's see, what's the difference in time between these two runners there? We're going to look at, so Aselphius Rod has finished off Eastern Palace. GFE is going to do that in just a moment here. Aselphius Rod's going to get this small key to Swamp really quickly, and then he's off to... And then he'll be off to Swamp there. Well, he'll have to full clear the dungeon. So GFE's definitely got the advantage here. Probably a good 3 minutes ahead, I think, right now.
I do want to point out one other part of this is the fact that Desert Palace, yes, you can beat the dungeon, but you're not supposed to right now.
That's true. Yeah, we're missing the Desert Small right now, so it's not Desert's not in logic, which almost kind of, at this point, you almost kind of go, it's in mire, isn't it? I mean,
All right. Well, this search continues.
Okay. If at this point, what are the kind of like awkward locations for the runner? I mean, we've got the Skullwoods big chest. That's not fun.
And well, no. You see, you mentioned the Skullwoods big chest, and normally by itself it would be a bad thing. But bear in mind one thing: we have, or at least for GFE, soon as Supplius Rod will have it. You will have the pedestal to check along with it.
True. So I mean, yeah, it's not just a complete one-off. There is something nearby it, which is pretty good.
I think there's at least one person in the chat who remarks about it, and I think that is the answer. If there is something in Lava Chest that we need to beat this seed, the question is, when do you give up and go back up to Turtle Rock?
Man, just at that point, that is a last location of last locations.
Pretty much, unless you're trying to pull off the meta at that point. You have to be feeling behind to try to pull off that meta.
Why are you talking about my seed yesterday, Rick? That is something I did yesterday.
They all blend together, Dazed Cloud. They all blend together.
That is, yeah. No, I mean, that is the thing. At some point, though, yeah, you playing these seeds there, you have a clock in your head of like when you think your opponent should be finished there, and like we've mentioned, we're in the Invitational, so you're expecting to run up against guys who, will 145 one of these seeds, fairly consistently. And so at some point you start looking at your timer and you start thinking.
Exactly, you do. You're 100% right about that. I mean, I'll be doing that tomorrow night when I face off against Zelga.
Oh, good luck, bud. I can think of.
I note the way that you say that too.
It's not nothing. It's just more. Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, sorry.
It is definitely good luck, but yeah, it's exactly what you're getting at. Is the fact that you are starting to watch that timer now that we're starting to get closer to 100 minutes. We're talking about a situation where you're starting to wonder, because you're not in go mode yet. Is your opponent in go mode? When is that done going to happen?
Look at GFE right now. We're headed back to. We're still not going to Mire, and we're not going to Desert Palace. We're not going to Mire. We're going to every other place that we need to go as Sophia's Rod tries to go over to to the left side of Swamp Palace, which is fantastic for him.
Small key to this. Oh no! Now this is good news here for Sophia's Rod, by the way. Is the fact that they are heading over to left side swamp. What do you think is on the pedestal?
Pedestal. I mean, it's gonna be probably nothing. Just because
no.
You think what? You think it's the thing? Like, there's one thing that we're really looking for right now.
I think it's the shovel.
Oh man, that's where we're going.
No, it's not. Dang it! I was hoping for can you dig it?
Well, I mean, GFE at some point here, we've got to head over towards Mire now, right? I mean, I don't think he has anything else.
I mean, we could put this off a little bit longer and just go right straight to Turtle Rock.
Oh, that's true, but I mean, nah. just nah to that.
I know what you're saying. All right, we're going to go into Desert first. We're going to go ahead and check the Lamos, and then we're probably going to check the Desert Big Chest. There's the ether for Sophia's Rod.
So yeah, on GFE's side, you just imagine we go here, we clear the boss, hope that it's just sitting here on the boss, and then we're done. If
You're not
not,
gonna
then
win.
we're just gonna keep on going here.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised how many times it pays to just rush the boss. If you're an item from go mode, rush the boss. If it's there, you save yourself a ton of time.
yeah, I totally get the concept, but it's not gonna be there. The seed knows. I still have a belief in my mind, and I know there's some people who put their points at risk for this, that we're gonna see the swamp big first.
I don't disagree with you because I've played enough cross keys and other key modes that it's just at some point when it's the actual one that you want first, you're just kind of like, what do? You almost stand there shocked because you're surprised that the seed gave you the thing you wanted.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's crystal number 5 for GFE. That's what dungeon number. I'm gonna call that 11 since we did Aga Tower already. I mean, good progress. We've got the desert
I
big
count
chest
9.
and 9. Could be 9.
Yeah, 369.
Yeah, it does. Yep, nope, you are right. There it is, 9. Okay. And we're gonna take a quick look here. So what do you think this desert big is gonna have? We're gonna take a quick look, and it's nothing.
All right, here we go. Let's see how Self-Place Rod does with the second stage. Nope, couldn't get it. Just had the same. Oh, that's a 3 cycle here. There we go. All right, now we finally go into Misery Mire.
And this is kind of got to be where, well, it doesn't have to be where this is, but I mean, it is more than likely.
I have another bad location that we could find.
Okay, shoot, go for it.
We get Thieves Town Small here.
Oh yeah, right. I mean, to be completely fair, I would be very surprised if the Thieves Town Small isn't in GT at this point. But yeah, no, you're very, very much right. That is an option.
All right, Self-Place Rod is going to make a little time checking the pedestal immediately, heading on over here to Desert and to Misery Mire. At least we have that going for us.
And yeah, we're going to go directly into Desert Palace here. For Self-Place Rod, GFE, we're going to take this small key and head towards the left side. Since we're playing Key Sanity, you want to come over here, hit this switch, maybe go ahead. If you want to go and start with cutscene chest, you can. Looks like that probably is what we're going to do here. Going to get this compass chest first and then head down to the cutscene, unless this turns out to be the key that we're looking for.
It's not.
Not usually there. That one does require all 3 Misery Mire small keys right now, and we got no idea where those are at the moment, as we're just gonna say nuts to the cutscene chest.
Well, I mean, we could still find that third key real soon. I mean, we do have 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. That is another one of those small keys that if it wanted to end up in GT, there's nothing stopping that one. Those 3, one of the quirks of Misery Mire is you don't need all of the small keys to put Vitreous into logic there.
Yep.
Vitreous is into logic the moment you have a key.
Hey,
like
small key! Ganon Sour.
All right. We are supposed to be finding those at some point here. I mean, you technically do need 4 GT keys to beat the game, but
You sound so excited about it.
I mean, it's just the quirks of key logic, right? I mean, you need 1 key to get the first 2 chests in the climb. You need 3 keys to get the block chest there, and you need 4 keys to go past Moldorm 2. there's so many little quirks. Key logic is one of the more difficult aspects of this game, and there is a lot of great resources out there. Trying to remember if P-Train did if it was P-Train who did the key logic Go Mode podcast, like tutorage, or if I'm mistaking that for other one. But P-Train did a really good one there. If you want to go search that, I'd go ahead and definitely for any newer runners, that's something you would like to start with, as far as trying to figure out exactly what's going on in these modes.
Big shout outs to the Gold Mode podcast. A lot of alum who got their starts through Randomizer through the Gold Mode podcast and their mentor tournaments, now playing here in the league.
Yep, definitely. And you'd be surprised how quickly some of those guys have progressed in their, in their rando area there. But on the Vidi, it seems like, and that's kind of interesting. As much as we've checked, silver arrows have not popped up today, so there's a pretty good chance that if we're talking about things in GT, that's one of them.
Nah, they're not in GT.
They're just gonna be sitting somewhere else, lava chest.
Probably. Actually, at this point in time, I think it's going to be Pyramid Fairy, which we'll never see.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Pyramid Fairy is something there. But yeah, like you mentioned, that Pyramid Fairy crystals today. One of them is Pod, and that's the big key we're looking for. Vitreous has
the shovel. The stinking shovel.
Well.
Can you dig it?
Yes. Well, okay, so GFE's got his hook shot out, so I think he's going back in for the cutscene chest. He's not. Oh, I don't know if I like that.
If this turns out to be the Pod big there, well, I mean, it's lovely as Rod's not heading in that direction either at this stage. Alrighty.
Yeah, but I feel like a Selphie's Rod would more likely go back in for it.
Yep.
Because he can end his route on that, and GFE just deciding, no, I'm not doing it at all. I mean,
all right, here we go.
He doesn't have much left. Let's find out what's here. What's here?
It's a big key. It's
a big key.
No!
Swamp Palace.
No!
Congratulations, the train continues. Where are we going to go? We are going to Swamp Palace.
Oh my god. Oh.
Well, Rick, I think you've got a prediction there to end, but man, all right, so GFE back into Swamp Palace here. This is not this doesn't have to be here. It is, so we're going. Man, this is rough here. It looks like A-Rod went for Spooky, didn't quite get it there. Headed over. Headed over there. I can understand GFE's play here, okay? Because I mean, cutscene chest is locked behind 3 Meyer keys, right? And I'm seeing Gamachu in chat stating GFE's logic for this, and it makes perfect sense, right? It is. The problem is
what he has available to him in the logic. I get it.
The problem is that if it turns out that this swamp key, the swamp big key leads to a Meyer key, oh no! At that point, that's when you just go, what are we doing here?
You know what could be actually a fetch quest at this point?
What is that?
The boots.
Yeah, no, I mean boots are a thing here. Boots would just open up basically 3 locations here. So Aselpius Rod picks up his shovel.
All right,
is
here we
likely
go.
In.
Big key.
Yep.
Finding out. It leads to Oh. No.
Are we in lava chest again?
I think we're in hell.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're in lava chest again.
Fluting
I need. Can somebody please go check on P-Train for us, please?
Oh, we're floating. Are we? What?
We are thinking.
We're floating.
We are decisions being made here.
Oh, did no?
He didn't have
He didn't have
his.
the big key.
Wait,
Oh,
where? Oh, he's
Zora!
in
Zora!
Zora, right? He hasn't done Zora. He did have the big key when he came in, right? All right, so we're on A-Rod's side here. We're gonna find out real quick now. Now, the GFE still has the advantage. Here's the thing: GFE still has the advantage on this, but A-Rod is gonna walk down. I have to imagine he's doing this. Where is he going? Go back.
Oh my god! He's checking the bridge chest here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, fair. He rushed the boss. I understand this. Meyer is not a fun dungeon to route. There's not really a good way. All right, GFE gets his stuff, and now he's up to, hey, which GFE, which bad decision do you want? Bad decision 1 or bad decision 2?
Oh my gosh.
All right.
They're all bad decisions at this point.
Yeah, this is Fad Keys. We got a flute out. We are going to
Six
Meyer.
again.
He's coming back here. We could be step for step here, because, like, if it turns out to be cutscene chest, then we are basically going to be almost at the same time. GFE will be like slightly behind, but if it's not, where?
Ooh, we're. Oh no! I thought we were gonna
say, yeah, that was one room too early there.
I thought we were gonna be a little fancy here, but apparently not.
Oh, right, that one bomb jump that you can do or something like that. Wait, no.
Yeah,
that's
I haven't
not
seen that in a
there.
long time, but I thought that's what we're about ready to set up. All right, here we go. This requires 3 Meyer Smalls. But this game has pretty much said to us, screw the logic. Been saying that for the last 110 minutes now.
Okay, what do we got here?
If it's a big key, it's the Palace of Darkness big key guaranteed. There's no other big keys to find. All right, here we go. Inside, we find...
It's Lava Chest.
A return trip to Lava Chest, and that will give GFE back the lead.
Yeah, because I think for GFE, that's all he's got, right? I mean,
yeah.
I can't have anything else. I think A-Rod's got shovel and...
Yeah, he's going to check the shovel, which is going to bait him back into Swamp Palace. Oh my goodness.
What a beast this thing has turned into, honestly.
Yeah, for certain. Did you have this idea that you're going to be dealing with this with me on commentary tonight?
I did not. But I mean, you know, it's kind of like we were saying. I was saying earlier here. It's just like this mode can just kind of mess with you at times here. So okay, he gets the swamp small, and he's
gonna flute to 4. You're gonna flute to, no, flute to 3. Pull the pad.
Check. He's got the skull. That's the thing. He's got more checks there. So I mean,
yeah, and that's why the lead here is for GFE.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we were questioning earlier what GFE was kind of doing with checking a lot of those one-offs and such like that. I think he was doing that because I'm curious to hear his explanation for it. But like, I'm thinking that there's a decent chance that he was doing that just because he wanted to see if how much he needed to open in Meyer. I don't know exactly for sure. You know, the other comedy option here is Desert Palace is still not in logic.
I mean, it isn't, but again, screw logic at this point.
All right,
for those of you who like epic trolls at this stage, we have the Desert Small that is still out for grabs. We also do have the boots that are out for grabs.
I'm bringing that up purely because I'm almost now expecting this to be the Desert Small key in Lava Chest.
I know. I can't make sense of what to figure out at this point in time.
Well, because I'm going through. We have to have the lava. We have to have the Desert Small before we go into GT, right? So,
well, yeah.
Where else could it be?
I can tell you where it can be. Palace of Darkness, big chest.
Ah, good point. Good point. Good point. Good
Once we
point.
finally get the Palace of Darkness big key somewhere in this
I
hall.
did. I did not think about that, but you are 100% right. Man, both of those options are not great.
They're not. And look at the timer.
Yep.
You're starting to get to that point you mentioned earlier because of the fact that this is invitational. You're at that part of the run here where you're starting to get a little freaked out that your opponent is about ready to finish, or you may be in the lead. You don't know, but you're starting to freak out.
Yeah, this is where you start making plays that you might not want to. You're going to be making these kind of like gambly sort of plays.
Here we go. Lava chest requires 4 Turtle Rock small keys. And the answer is... Oh, there it is. The Desert Small. Oh. And the chain continues, my friends.
So what are we on here? This is like seed number 6 for Fad Keys for the league. I want to say something like that right now. We're on seed number 6 for this week, and 2 of the seeds have just basically been 2 or 3 of the seeds have just been giant last location fests.
You're not instilling confidence in me for tomorrow night, buddy.
Good luck. That's all I gotta say, bud. Have fun.
maybe something this hilarious might give me a chance against Zelda. Anyways, that's coming up tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern over on SpeedGaming. Stay tuned for that. But stay here for the entertainment of what we're going to find in these 2 checks coming up here from GFE.
All right, what are you gonna say?
Small.
First or second chest? What do you got, Rick? Quick.
2.
1.
Yeah. Ah, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody who's watching here, for 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 18 seconds. GFE's in go mode, and unfortunately, Acephalous Rod, remember, he went into Hero without the big key. Now he's back in here now.
Yeah, he's going to be cleaning up a whole bunch of things here. Now, the good news is for GFE, we're going to just go and clear off Helma real fast, and then we're just up the tower to go take out Aga 2. Don't have to worry about Aga 1 because that was our access into the Dark World at about an hour and a half ago. So even though this has been quite the seed, we are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We don't have to check anything in GT. We can just blitz right to the top. Now, if GFE decides to open...
What do you mean blitz? We don't have the boots. How can we blitz when we don't have the boots?
Okay, fair enough. But we can casually
crawl our way to the finish line.
We can stroll up the tower.
Crawl, not stroll. Stroll implies speed. We're crawling our way up the tower. And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the boots turned out to be in that final chest, that one that you got to kill Moldorm 2 to get to.
Oh God, I kind of want him to open it just because it would be funny. I mean, at this point, just the seed just going, oh, did you need these? But yeah. So GFE making his way back to Helma. We've got Acephalous Rod making the right choice here, and coming back up for his lava chest, Desert Palace, small key.
So let me ask you this question.
Sure.
You said that you've been waiting 2 years to do commentary with me. Was it worth the wait?
Oh, this has been fun. I'm having a great time, Rick. I hope you're having a good time too. I hope everybody else is having a good time. Great. Yeah, and a big shout outs again to our trackers today, Mindful Beast, tracker, one single tracker today, Mindful Beast. This has been an incredible race here as a man, just so many interesting places for these items to end up.
Can I just point this out, by the way? This seed was so disgusting in the fact that it put the hammer up there on the floating island. Say, hey, come on in to Turtle Rock for all the fun and pleasure of coming on in here. and then sticking that fourth Turtle Rock small key down on the hammer pegs.
Yeah, I saw it pointed out there in chat, and it's something I guess I would completely agree with. That I don't. You probably don't feel terrible about being like last locationing lava chest because you kind of almost have to assume your opponent did too. Like what else would
There's
you
the
have
third
done?
buyer key. Okay, well, now those bombs are in logic.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, yeah. So for GFE, we're gonna mirror. We're gonna head on up to GT here, and at that point, it's time to decide exactly: do I open any of the chests on the climb there, hoping for silvers?
At this point, you're freaking out, thinking your opponent is. I mean, okay, yeah. Given the fact that the Desert Small was where it was, you're probably not as freaked out as you would be if it turned out to be, like, for instance, the boots were somewhere accessible and these runners got it, or this was a completely straightforward seed. This seed was definitely not straightforward, but
No.
this is a case here where you still look at that timer and you're still seeing that it's closing in on 2 hours, which is kind of that level where your opponent is, under most circumstances, going to be finished.
Yeah.
Or almost finishing, rather.
Yeah, no, I mean, anytime that you're going over, it doesn't matter what the seed is, really, at some point. Like, once you start seeing a 2 as the first number on your timer, you're gonna, the part of you's got to panic a little. I mean,
the only mode that you might not is if it turned out to be a really nasty cross key seeds, but even at that
yeah, especially
point, once you get to the 2 hour mark there.
Yeah, it's gonna sometimes just kind of be what it is there. I mean, if you're playing cross keys and especially in invitational, same thing. I think like 90% of the invitational side here, 2 hour, they can go sub 2 in cross keys. I mean, that's so, and especially cross keys is a little different than AD keys. AD keys, you know where all of the chests are. So like the routing isn't as complex. Or as complex, maybe that's not the right word, as random as it can be with cross. I think
complex actually does work in that case because of the fact that how many decisions you've got to make, how do you lump together chests, when do you take connectors and things like that. And those are the things that we'll be looking forward to when we get to week number 5 coming up here in the league. In the meantime, we still have another 5 days of this mode to play.
Yeah, and if the first 2 days have started off like this, oh man, you imagine what the next 5 is.
I might need to call my therapist after tomorrow.
Well, I hope not, but we'll see here. As the GFE is on his way, he's got to go through these first couple of spike rooms. A-Rod is making his way back to Helma here, so he's a good couple of minutes behind at this point. Gonna for a Selfies Rod to catch up to GFE at this point, it's gonna require.
It's really going to require a mistake on GFE's side.
It's going to require a huge one. Is the thing.
It's going to require a mistake on GFE's side at this stage in order for Selfies Rod to have a chance to give his team the 3 points. It looks like at this point, Sphere-finity is looking pretty good to go 2-2 now after 2 weeks of the league.
Yeah, as we're sitting here in the Lost Woods division here, which is my division, I get to go up against all of these teams at some point this year, and my team gets to go up against all of these teams up sometime this year. And I can tell you my exact feeling, my exact words when I saw our draw for this year were words that SpeedGaming does not really allow on air. But it's gonna be.
How do you think my words were?
Yeah, probably about the same. You just at some point it didn't matter what division you ended up in. It's just like, oh god, all of those guys are really good at this game.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the reason why the Invitational is the way that it is. It's made to pack together the creme of de la creme.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it is every single race in the Invitational League is just going to be, two top runners going at it there. And the league is honestly, it's probably my favorite. Well, I mean, this and the Crosskeys tournament are probably my favorite times of the year, easily, just because they're just so much. It's different when you're racing by yourself, but when you're racing for your teammates, oh man, there's an extra added boost of adrenaline.
Yeah,
to
I
it.
agree. And it's definitely fun, especially when you have your teammates busting chops about the way that you've done things or supporting them heading over towards the finish line as well. It's definitely a fun time to be. And we've seen many great races turn out here in the league as well. I mean, take a look at the division that my team was in back in season number 2, where it became the division of ties.
Yeah, yeah, and we are here. So GFE actually opening all of the chests up on top here. I'm a little surprised that he went for both of those, but
I'm still
I
waiting for
mean,
the boots in the final chest.
we'll see here. We've got that picking up a few more. And nothing, you're not really getting anything to help him there. I mean, he's got a full health, full magic. Moldorm just playing super nice for him there. Just going to stay in right there in that corner. Takes it down and we open it to find
That's not the
20
boots game.
rupees. So,
That's not the boots.
so congratulations. Your reward for doing this entire seed and just kind of having to open almost every chest in the game here is you get to do silverless Ganon with a something like probably a high 190 collection rate. Well, no, it's not going to be that because we didn't open up anything in GT, did we?
Except for what we just opened up here on the top. So that's 22 chests downstairs, 23 chests downstairs that will go unclaimed. But yeah, you know, a lot of fun matches still to come here in the league. And, well, we've still got some more fun matches coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, that we do there. So, I mean, don't go away. Make sure you subscribe to all of the Speed Gaming 1 through 6 there. There will be the league is going to be running for the next, I'd say at least good 2 months on top of everything with playoffs and everything involved. So, don't go anywhere. This is going to be fun.
It is definitely going to be fun. So coming up tomorrow, we do have matches beginning at 1:10 p.m. Eastern over on Speed Gaming 3 with Team Hime versus the Noble Foxes, coming up with the second game of their series. And then matches at 3:10. There's a couple of them at 7:10, a pair of them at 9:40, and then of course there's another one at 10:10 as well. Plus, also open matches as well as they continue on through this mode as well. But here we are in the Ganon fight for GFE, doing some spins, trying to get those 12 hits to send us into stage number 3, and then Ganon will let us know where the silver arrows are. And is a pretty safe bet to say, did you find them in my towers, going to wind up being shown?
I mean, yeah, I think that's the smart money right there. And there's a chance that we see something like, did you find my the towers and the silver arrows in the light world? And that's gonna feel bad.
It's not going to cost GFE the race, but that is not something that you want to have happen again.
Interesting that he saves and quit there. I mean, I guess that is a little faster than walking back up the tower. Does lose a considerable amount of health, but
Red Mail, you're not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not, but at the same time, you don't want to get, you get tilted. you can decide real fast that I'm just gonna, blast through it. He's got potions. Should be okay here.
All right, get ourselves into stage number 3, and we'll try this again.
I want to say he has 1 blue potion, or I don't actually know how many he has. I want to say 1 from the Pyramid Fairy, but yeah, I don't know.
Waterfall Fairy, but yeah.
Waterfall Fairy, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Oh, that's right. It could still be the Dark World with the Pyramid Fairy having those, but we're gonna find out right now. My tower, yeah, it was the easiest answer. There's 23 possibilities where that could have been. So yeah.
All right, GFE's got the torch glitch right now, so he's going to work on just spinning Ganon out here. He's waiting for him to get down to the bottom, a little easier to set up a triple like that. There. Looking pretty good.
You just got to keep yourself cool. Yeah, you just took that one little stumble. But you've got to remain calm as you go through this. Just do your spins. Don't let what just happened affect your nerves. Okay. You just don't want to let anything happen, because if you make a mistake, your time is starting to run out at that point.
Yeah, very close. You're going to have to pop a potion. Ooh, I always hate when Ganon's that close to me.
Yeah, that was close to the hitbox right there. I think another inch over there, he would have been down. However, there it is. It is going to be a 2-0 week sweep there for Sphere-finity over Les French Canadians. Get your GGs in the chat for GFE 12 winning this match.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I imagine this interview is going to be... Might be just a tiny bit of salt in this interview, but we'll see exactly what GFE has to say. Hopefully he'll join us here in just a moment. Right now we got A-Rod on Moldarm 2. Takes him down pretty good here from his movement there. Oh, I was about to say, I thought that maybe he had just seen the race room. And yeah, he's going to make his way up to Aga 2 real quick, and then into his Ganon fight as well, as we are now joined in the booth by GFE there. GG's, bud.
Hey, thanks for the GG's. Sorry about the end there, just had to keep the GFE League season tradition.
Yeah, the traditional GFE Ganon fall.
Yep, at least this time I didn't throw the match with it. Also, you all got to see it first. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever fallen on phase 3 in my life, so...
Well, I mean...
You've seen it here first.
In the end, it didn't end up hurting you, bud. As you're still here and gonna take the win here for your team here. So you guys moving to 2-0 on the week there, give you 6 points on the season right there. And yeah, how you feeling? How you feeling about your team's day of work here?
Feels good. I mean, both seeds were terrifying. Yeah. I thought P-Train was beaten for the longest time just because of the swamp small, and then in this seed, right before the match, of course, we were both joking, don't open lava chests, because, why would you do that?
Yeah, oh my god, that's right.
I guess Ninben was playing the wrong seed. Ninben should have played this one.
That's right. So one thing I would definitely want to know is, you mentioned about the swamp small. That did come into a little bit of a play here, as something as Rod did not get down to Harmless Hellway in the first trip in.
Yeah, I considered that was a possibility. I mean, having only 3 pod smalls, getting a 3rd end pod, I knew that there was going to be another one show up at some point, so I wasn't that worried about that. So I just went ahead and spin it back there, and it paid off for sure.
So you're nearing 2 hours, and the seed playing the way that it did. You didn't have the boots, obviously. So what was going through your mind as we were making our way towards that 2-hour mark?
What was going through my mind? What garbage check is going to have my pod be? Or actually, Desert Small. I was honestly predicting it would be Desert Small. That's actually one reason I put off Desert and Mire for so long, is I wanted to go mode Mire, and I didn't have the Desert Small, so logically I wasn't supposed to complete it anyway.
That's a totally fair, yeah.
I mean, I put off Mire cutscene chest for like one reason: it's slow, and I got that shovel, and I didn't have the 3 small keys yet. But then it came down to that in lava chest, and in my mind I was like, I mean, lava chest could just have a Mire small. We went
from quick elation to quite disappointment once it popped up that was the Swamps big at that stage.
Yeah, I remember that.
We do love the little bit of a sword slash that you gave it, though.
I expressed myself a few times in this seed because
Oh, yeah.
things just turned up at the wrong time.
And there goes the Supplius Rod finishing off again. And fight, get your GGs in the chat for Supplius Rod and Les French Canadian.
Oh man, what a seed though. Like I was thinking it was going to be another Blind's Hut farm. it was feeling that way.
Very almost seemed like it wanted to become that way, but it turned out not to be. Zora didn't have anything of importance, and yeah. I think the less that is said about this seed, the better, because I think we can already tell by the fact that this seed took, as long as it took for both of you to finish this off, just how bad this seed was.
I mean, I'll say this, no matter how garbage P-Train and Inbound seed was, I guarantee you P-Train preferred his seed to mine, because at least he got to run in it.
Yeah, you somehow managed a full 2 hours and 10 minutes there without finding the boots. I mean, just
out of curiosity, did he check this last chest in desert? Because if boots
Nope.
were there, I was going to be a sad man.
Nope, we did not get to see it. We saw the same order when Supplius Rod opened up the chest. It was just that one bottom chest, and that was it. Goodbye. We're out of here.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wouldn't have honestly felt bad if it was silvers there, but if it had been boots there, it was just going to be a real bad feel.
And it does look like we are now joined in commentary booth right now by a Celpius Rod there. How you doing there, bud? GG's.
Thanks, GGGFE.
Hey, GG's.
How sad no boots.
Yeah.
That's all I remember from the seed. No boots.
You just had to crawl your way up to all those locations across all of Hyrule, and the boots probably were down in GT along with those silver arrows.
Yeah, most likely. But well, I'm glad that I'm not more than 4 minutes behind Jeffy, so that's good.
We
Yeah,
did
me
worry that it was going to be a little bit further than that when I think what really we could say the bigger point of this race turned out to be is the fact that GFE pulled out the Swamp Small in the first trip into the pod, whereas you ended up having to pull it out the second time.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I used that third small key that I got inside pod.
Yeah, I tried to save it. Shouldn't have, but
Usually, if there's still 3 out there, I'm pretty confident. If there's only 2 left, then I don't know if I spend it or not. But
I hesitated, but then I remembered in that opening lava chest and was like, no, don't open doors if you can do a boss at some point.
Oh man, I was telling them Min played the wrong seed. Because in this one, that was the Galaxy Brain play.
Yeah, I even did it in my file name.
Yep. I mean, we were talking after the race. There is literally no possible way, nor no sensible way, you're going to get that 4th TR small before you clear TR.
Yeah.
Get up on the mountain. It gives you Samaria. You're picking up your hammer, and then you go over to Hera, and oh, here's your TR medallion. Let's just go right in and full clear everything below us. And then, for me, basically, the next stop off the mountain was Hammer Pegs, and I left the bomb because I was not happy about that key.
Yeah, we noticed that you took some trademarks out of my team with the way that you used that bomb on that, and it was so deserving at that point, and little did we know that TR4 was going to actually matter because, well, it led to what it led to.
I'm trying to get myself in good with other teams for when P-Train kicks me off for the next Ganon fall I do.
Don't worry. Tomorrow night I'll fall against Ganon, so that way we can put you into good spirits.
Fair enough.
I do want to ask you, though, pretty much as you're moving along through this entire seed, as it became more and more apparent that Aghanim was going to be required through the early part of the seed, what's going through your mind when you pick up that Master Sword out of the back chest? Are you kind of going through what you're going to do after you're done with Agate, or is it a matter of worry about this when I'm done?
I mean, I was expecting that Master Sword or Cape for a while there. I was honestly relieved that it was there and not on Zora. But I guess after I picked it up, you know, the climb takes a while, and then you got the Agathat thing. So just kind of focused on execution, and then during the Agathat, made my decision. I was gonna put off Pod mainly because I only had 2 small keys. I honestly wanted more, and went ahead up and figured with the Fire Rod that I'd sequence broken that I would just full clear Skullwoods, because I knew with no small keys that I'd get trapped there. Shout outs to the 3rd Skullwood small, by the way.
Yeah, that was a great spot for that 3rd skull. We also saw that you gave it the how do you do when you found the first Skullwood small in the village.
Yeah, that was good too. That route didn't work out for me. I felt bad about leaving Pod, but I also didn't want to leave Brenna Skull, so I just figured clear Skull, go back to Pod, and then we'll take the long trip back around to Thievestown. When that was the correct play to go to the whole time.
Yeah, you see, I felt bad about going in Pod first. I'm like, there's nothing in there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, the fact that you came up empty, and then little did we know that what ended up happening did happen. But so I'm going to first of all speak over to our winners who went 2-0 this week against you guys. So you got to start with Sphere-finity. Coming up next week is Casual Boots. Do you know who you're sending out next week?
Yeah, I'll actually be on vacation next week, so my boys P-Train and Sabo are going to take care of that. Hopefully add another couple of wins to our total here. Feels good to get back even for week 3.
I'll try to see if I can't convince Sabotender to have a Ganon fall in your honor.
Let's not. Sabo's just gonna forget about Back of the Well. That's
okay.
And don't worry, progression will be there because
the game knows.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over to the late French Canadians coming up next week. Who do you guys sending out for Casual Boots?
It's Rywek and Ninban, because let's face it, no boots this week, so no boots for me next week as well.
Oh man.
They want to keep me on the slow seats.
Don't worry. Are you planning on playing in week 4, Celsius Rod?
Week 4 is the spoiler one?
Yeah.
No, I'm usually the pilot on that one.
All right, well, then no boots for you that week either.
Yeah.
And just for good measure, we'll just, when you do cross keys in week 5, we'll make the boots a really, really bad location that you're not going to see either.
Yeah. Presume. I won't see boots for this entire league. I'll be good.
All right, well, stay tuned to see whether or not Celsius Rod will ever see the boots again here in the league. I mean, week 7's coming up, isn't that? Start off with boots or something like that.
Yeah, that one is boots co-op Randomizer. Sorry, I'm over here just muting myself because I'm cracking up at you guys.
Well, bring me week 7. I want those boots and I want the Randomizer. So just bring me there. Let me dash into a roller. It'll be good. It'll be better
thrills
than
of-
this seed. I'll tell you that.
the fun thrills of Randomizer when you get to dash into every single mugger that's possible.
And then every roller that appears under bushes and stuff. Okay, yeah, dashing's a
my.
bad idea.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up. Let's get a big GG's for both of our runners here. GFV_12 and Assumptius Rod representing their teams, Sphere-finity and Les French Canadians. Well done for both of you guys. You survived.
Thanks to all of you for commenting and tracking all this.
Yep, huge thanks to the trackers as well. I look forward to watching it, or to the tracker Mindful Beast. Thank you. And look forward to watching this back and hearing y'all have all sorts of wonderful things to say about this seed.
All of us sharing in your pain is what you're going to be hearing as you go through the commentary on this one.
Enjoying our pain.
No, feeling your pain. Isn't that right, Days Cloud?
A little of column A, a little of column B there, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I saw what you were saying yesterday, GFE, so I was really proud that you didn't skip left side there. Left side swamp.
Honestly, I was pretty confident in my execution, even though it was bootsless, and I didn't want to leave anything. So when I saw you through there, that did feel good.
Yeah, you definitely ended up making the right decisions here. So, yeah, well, guys, GG's to all of you, and I guess we're gonna push on for 5 more days of some more all dungeons keys here, and then it's on to week 3. And man, we got still so much time left in this tournament, so we're gonna have a lot of fun coming ahead of us here.
That's right. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've got coming up tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. Eastern, we have Ravis versus Hayfield Bay, Team Hime versus Noble Foxes. Coming up at 3:10, well, we're going to be seeing Did You Check Your Boot? Facing off against the Sexy Gannons, Rampant Revenant versus Freddy. That'll be over on SpeedGaming 4. Over on this channel, coming up at 7:10, will be Zelgadis versus some person that's been sitting here in the commentary booth for the entire time of this seed. The Spoilers versus the Bomb Squad. Then we'll have, at the same time, Aussie versus Leviticus. Over on SpeedGaming 4, Shack Tools Digging Game versus Boomer Friendly. And then to wrap things up later on in the evening, we have Mystic versus Relkin, Gannon's Gun, Wild versus Paradox, Homemade Beer versus Gamachu, James FNX versus Wall Kicks, as we begin to wrap up the Wednesday edition of this great week that we call Faux All Dungeons Key Sanity.